Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Indeed, here we are, and there's something strange on my screen, and that is because today marks the end of an era. In that, up until now, this is episode 340 of Farlands or Bust. Up until now, we had been using the original, the old launcher for Minecraft that existed. I haven't updated it or anything since Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. Unfortunately, due to a security issue that was kind of sweeping the nation. No, sweeping the internet yesterday, known as the excuse me, sheep. The Heartbleed, I believe is what it was called, Heartbleed bug in OpenSSL, which is a yada 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 security feature that a lot of websites use for security. And basically there was that's a creeper. There was a big problemo with that, so Mojang had to update their security authenticator authentication. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Their security authentication, and that meant they had to officially end support for the old launcher. So this is the first time I'm actually playing Farlands or Bust using the new launcher. Of course, you can create a new profile and say play in, you can enable the old alpha, beta, snapshots, the different versions you can play just using the new launcher. So this is the first time, and actually this is the very first time I've actually loaded the world in here. I've always been a little bit worried about what that means for the Farlands or Bust world here. As you know, it's a bit of a kind of tenuous little relationship I have here with the game, trying to reach the Farlands of Minecraft as legitimately as possible, and every little change we make worries me a little bit, but I am entrusting the fine folks at the Mojang that I have indeed loaded the appropriate Minecraft Beta 1.7.3 jar. There does not appear to be the most obvious clue that something has gone wrong would be if we encounter some sort of seam, a very stark seam in the terrain generation. And so far, that does not appear to be the case. Like I said, this is the first time I should have, probably. I was considering, maybe I should load in the world using the new launcher and walk around a bit in different directions just to make sure there's not a seam. But no, you are experiencing this with me, and so far, so good. So perhaps I should have been doing this all along, but yeah, in the name of security. Now I could keep using the original launcher, and I still... Careful, Wolfie. I still have it installed and on my computer. I could still use that in offline mode. It would just cause for me not to have my player skin. I would be Steve. So I could still play that in offline mode, and there are also, I've looked up, there are ways to replace the default Steve with your own character skin. If I wanted to go in and start messing with the packaged jar file that's there, I could replace it with my 10th Doctor skin. Not officially the 10th Doctor for copyright reasons, simply a guy in a suit wearing 3D glasses. It's the KurtJMac skin. But I decided to simply keep with the times. Like I said, for security reasons, keep with the times, use the new launcher. It is very nice that Dinabone and the folks at Mojang included the option to be playing in these older versions with the new launcher, so that's fine and dandy. And what does Wolfie think of it? Really? There we go. I give you a treat and then you bark. I get it. I get it. So yeah, we're using this now. And yeah, like I said, there doesn't appear to be any difference really whatsoever. We still have we're so far out, obviously. Our block selection is still wonky, so nothing has changed there. The terrain is generating seamlessly. The only thing, obviously, when I logged on there is the achievements seem to have reset. And, actually, before we really get going, Wolfie? Wolfie? Did I forget to stand you back up? Nope, he's over here. Sorry. Let me look at the achievements. The achievements seem to have reset. Achievements. Yep. All of the achievements have reset. Wait a minute. Were achievements even in the game in beta 1.7.3? Maybe they were. Yeah, I think they were. So the achievements have reset, as have the statistics. Yep. We've only swum 24.83 meters. I wonder if there's a way I can carry this over. This was never accurate in the previous installation because the statistics were for all of your games entirely. So I remember at the end of Season 2, I looked at the statistics, and it said I had died like a bunch of times, but that was because it included all of the other saves and all of the other games I had played. So the statistics were never accurate either. But I guess those got reset. Not that, like I said, not that that matters. So from now on, maybe the statistics will be accurate. So I guess we can. Whoa, that's a lot of sheep. We can. I'm alright on wool. We can say, oh, from episode 340 on, these statistics for Far Lands or Bust are now accurate for distance swum and jumped and things killed and distance boated and all that stuff. But oh well, it's like I said. If you want to count all those things up, there are 339 episodes before this that you can go watch and tally up yourself if you really want to. But did that sheep just fall to his doom? No, he's right there. But yeah, we're continuing on. Like I said, episode 340. I didn't even do my proper intro, and it's already halfway over this first day here. Episode 340. It's Wednesday, April 9th, 2014. This whole security business and change, oh you noodle, happened yesterday, April 8th, but we are still raising money for Child's Play charity. That has not changed, that has not reset or anything. Yeah, that's the one number that has not reset, is the Child's Play, well it did a little bit ago, but Child's Play charity, so close. The previous episodes we were at 33333, and then the next one 44444. But I'm afraid today we are at $501.78 raised for Child's Play charity this season, Season 5 thus far. You can donate at farlandsorbust.com. Leave a question or a note or whatever in the comments field of your donation, and I will consider answering or talking about that question in a future episode of Far Lands or Bust. But yeah, thank you everybody who keeps donating. I appreciate it. And stay tuned for the eventual addition of additional additions to the additional additions of Far Lands or Bust, the donations, the charities and whatnot, like I've been talking about. But so far it's been just a lot of talk and not a lot of walk. There's been a lot of walk as well, but not a lot of actually doing what I say I'm going to do. I'll get to it. Give me a break. It's tax season. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. Speaking of seasons, segue. Speaking of seasons, ooh, it's a nice day out in Chicagoland today. How's the weather? It is finally spring, it seems. Almost. At least. We are at, it's going to be 60 degrees today. Fahrenheit, that is about, 15, 16 degrees centigrade, Celsius, or whatever you folks like to call it. So it's nice, it's sunny, although next Wednesday they are once again calling for some snow. So even April here in the northern latitudes is not quite spring. We have not quite left the grasp of this particularly terrible winter that we've had. I'm looking forward to the day that I can move more towards the southwesterly regions and avoid these sort of issues altogether. That would be nice. And it will be nice. Thinking optimistically. Projecting positive thoughts that hopefully enact positive results in my future life. So yeah, that's something that I noticed. Might be able to go out today without wearing a jacket. It's crazy. Unheard of. Balderdash. Madness. Pigs. Yeah, I talked about you. Your ears ringing. Your snout ringing. But alright, let's go to sleep here on this first day. Whoa, almost jumped off. The first bed placed. Yeah, that's probably going to be on the statistics. The first bed placed in this, the new launcher. We're still playing in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. Although I noticed the number doesn't show in the upper left-hand side that we're playing in Beta 1.7.3. Did it before? I don't know anymore. I don't think it did. Did it? No. No, it didn't. Alright, so that's not new. All these things you don't notice until they're gone. Or until they weren't even there anyway. Who cares? Let's go to sleep. And I let a spider spawn this. That was waiting too long. Waiting too long. Let's continue on in a westward direction, per usual. Yeah, the only thing I'm moderately concerned about using the new launcher, I don't play single player that much or at all with, you know, with this new launcher, with any of the new versions of Minecraft. But all the saves are in the same directory, so like I still saw when I loaded in the Farlands Bust World, I basically copied and pasted it. When I loaded in the Farlands Bust World, I saw all my other single-player saves, and they all said needs to be converted because they're in a different version than the 1.7.3 save files are. And the only potential problem I would have is if I were to accidentally load the Farlands Bust World in a different version of Minecraft. So I will have to be even more stringent with backups and making sure those sorts of things don't happen. I think we'll be all right. I'm pretty stringent as it is. I've got nightly backups to the cloud. I've got backups after every episode here locally, and then I have local backups also that run on a pretty maybe not daily, but every other day basis. I back up these directories, and I'll be keeping for nostalgic purposes my old launcher and installation of Farlands Bust. Does the new that was the thing I was concerned about as well, is whether or not the texture pack would work, but it seems to work. It seems to work just fine because it's a texture pack from 1.7.3. And I basically just had to copy and paste that to the texture packs folder because it's kind of weird how it works. It uses the old, you don't get the new menu screen or anything, so it's pretty seamless, if I can say so myself, and do. And it has not affected us one bit. One bit! Although, let's start to reduce the amount of stuff we have. Oh, get out of here. Boop. There you go. Recover from that little tumble you took earlier. Indeed. So yeah, that whole, I'm not going to talk too much about it. I don't know that much about it, but basically, it's the time of year where you should change your passwords for every single website you've ever logged into, ever. And it is once again a reminder to use different passwords for every single service that you have. Kind of a difficult thing to do, but definitely worth it. Definitely something I've been doing regardless. But yeah, basically the way I think this Heartbleed flaw worked is it was basically a problem. You know, it didn't require any quote-unquote hacks or anything like that. It was basically the fact that certain services and servers for momentary, just very small amounts of time, kept information in the memory of the host server. And, you know, in some cases, it kept, you know, your emails. You know, whenever you log into a place, it says HTTPS, the secure. You're normally going through SSL, and you know, it would keep some of that information in the server memory. You know, just snippets of whatever you were doing, and sometimes, in some cases, it was plain text, passwords, emails, you know, usernames, hashtags, not hashtags, but you know, security hash codes. Which are basically what replaces your login for your like session ID and stuff like that. So a lot of websites, like I said, including Mojang, kind of took things down and were scrambling to update to the patch that fixed that. And it seems like most of them have that in order. If you use any like smaller websites that have logins, independent ones or ones that don't get updated frequently, you know, those are the ones to still worry about, because you don't know if those admins are even updating those sites anymore, or if they're, you know, quick enough to respond to these sorts of things. Careful, Wolfie! I kind of maybe pushed you there, but I could have arranged my perspective of that cactus and those two smaller cactuses and had quite the inappropriate picture, but I did not. I did not. So, while we're being juvenile, no, let's continue on. I guess another segue to a donor question here. How do you even say this? Vice211? Vichy, Viccie, or it could be Vicky, just a strange way to say Vicky. 211 asks, what's your opinion of the metric system, and do you think the U.S. should adopt it? I just talked about Fahrenheit to Celsius, about what the temperature is outside right now. And, I went kind of, what the temperature is outside right now? I went kind of southern there. My opinion of it? I don't have an opinion of it. It's not like a political party or, you know, anything to get divisive about. Decisive? Words! I say them sometimes. So it's communist. No, I think it's fine and dandy. I think it definitely makes more sense scientifically. It makes for easier conversions, obviously. It's, you know, and a lot of people give kind of the you know, it's the whole Americans this Y, Z, and their McDonald's and hamburgers, and they're fat and they need bigger seats at the theaters and soda products and yeehaw. But it's a cultural, it's almost a language. You know, we've all been raised, to know in our minds what a mile is, what a foot is, what an inch is, what a pound is, what a Fahrenheit is, and our entire world and frame of reference has been built around that. So it's not so easy to just switch. You know, I say, oh, it's 16 degrees Celsius outside. It's like somebody speaking Spanish to me, or Russian or Chinese or something. It's sure, it makes perfect sense to the other person who has grown up knowing that 16 degrees Celsius is a pretty comfortable temperature for the human body to be standing outside. But for me, in the Fahrenheit, you know, the number 16 is low. It's freezing. And that's what, you know, the imperial system was built around. It was built around the human experience. You know, 0 degrees, I can't remember what it was, but 100 degrees Fahrenheit early on was thought to be the internal human body temperature. And they got close. It's 98.6 degrees. But 100 degrees was the human body's temperature. I don't know what they made 0 degrees for. Was like at the point you start to get frostbite or something. or unbearably cold, or was it like the temperature of a dead body or something like that? I don't know. But it was all based around the human experience as opposed to metric, 100 degrees, boiling point of water, 0 degrees, freezing point of water. Obviously much better for science and whatnot, and much more, what's the word? I always get it confused. Much less subjective, more objective, or did I strike that, reverse it? I don't know. I always get that confused. Speaking of languages. So yeah, same thing with the foot, inch, mile. It's all based around the human experience versus the non-human experience. So yeah, if I could, and I try to start speaking in meters and stuff like that, in kilometers. I try to, but all of our cars, the big numbers on the dial are the miles per hour. That's what the signs are. Our entire world is shaped around this, so it's not like flipping a switch. We can't just all of a sudden be like, okay, let's go metric. It just doesn't. It just isn't easy to do. It's not possible. It would be like telling everybody overnight to start, like I said, start speaking a different language. And it is kind of a language, but yeah, I do feel like there, at least in American science, it's more moving towards the metric system to be more on par with the rest of the world. And I suppose that will, I don't know how many generations it's going to take, but I'm sure eventually, whether or not it requires some mandate in schools, perhaps that's the time to start teaching it, would be in schools. It's going to take a couple... Whoa! Is that thing just floating there? No, okay, it's sandstone underneath. That was weird. It's going to take some generations to work it out of the society, but what do I think of the metric system? A+, well done, people who invented the metric system. I hope someday... It might not even be in my own lifetime. I might not be able to retrain my brain to accept the metric system, but maybe someday we'll all get on the same wavelength, and we will all join hands in harmony, swaying back and forth at a speed of 2.6 meters per second. And it will be lovely, lovely times. But who knows? Let's go to sleep. And awakeness. Obviously, the Minecraft world is laid out in meters. Each block is a meter cubed. Walking to the far lands is 12,500, some odd meters away. Or 12,000 something kilometers away, as you could say. So, certainly in the Minecraft world, Steve is 2 meters tall. Or Steve, your character is 2 meters tall. The head lines up perfectly with that second block there. Kind of perfectly. You can jump 1 meter high. You can do a little dance. You can do a little dance. Do a dance. Ah, whoops. Throw your sword. So yeah, that's interesting stuff. But thanks for that question. Kind of one of those weird topics that you never really consider getting into a conversation about, but spend an entire 10 or so minutes talking about it. Let's see. Tom asked, what's your favorite Italian food? Ooh, that really, I don't know what that was. That wasn't Italian, though. Favorite Italian food? Not sure. That's a tough one, especially now that I am gluten-free. Pastas and whatnot tend not to abide by the gluten-free, restrictions. Although I have mentioned before, a pasta I do enjoy is there's a lot of rice pastas I've not been a fan of. They're just kind of weird texture and a little bit gritty and just not pleasant overall. Corn-based pasta, spaghetti particularly, turns out pretty good. It's probably not as healthy for you as the rice pasta, but the corn pasta I do recommend as a gluten-free alternative. I don't know, I suppose just your standard spaghetti and meatballs. What's that other stuff called? I got it at a restaurant. It was on their gluten-free menu, and they're like, "Oh, this one is. We don't have to change anything about this. It's just straight up gluten-free, regardless." It's not even noodles. It is. I don't even know if it's Italian, to be honest with you. It's kind of like a rice, like a mushy rice sort of thing. Woof. Yeah. What is it called? I have no idea what it's called. Tell me in the comments what it's called. You know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like a mushy rice. This one came with like some sort of steak-like beef situation on top. Wow, I'm not good at food. I'm not like a big foodie type person. I kind of mentioned this a few episodes ago. I was talking about food, about how, well, what's your favorite Italian food? I guess the Italian beef from Portillo's, but I was talking about how, yeah, I don't really, going gluten-free, all right. And I got some comments from somebody on Twitter who, I guess, was from Chicago but lives elsewhere, and they're like, oh, the first thing I do when I come back home to visit my parents or whatever is get Portillo's. I'm like, I could go the rest of my life never ever having a Portillo's Italian beef. However, if you are not gluten-free and you are in the Chicago area and you do come across a Portillo's hot dogs, I would recommend the Italian beef. I particularly didn't get it with any of the peppers on it, giardiniera peppers or whatever, but I did get it. You should request it dipped. There is a big difference there. That's kind of, it's not even on the menu, but you have to, it's kind of the Chicago, it's the way you order it. You can either get it dry, which is without sauce. Italian beef. Does everybody know what Italian beef is? It's basically really thinly shaved beef on a kind of an Italian bun or roll, and just kind of stuffed in there. Sometimes there's peppers on top. Think of a Philly cheesesteak, except without the cheese and completely different. Asking for it dry is basically without any of the sauce. You can ask for extra sauce, and they'll kind of take a ladle and throw some extra sauce on the beef and the bun. Asking for it dipped, they literally build your sandwich inside the bread, and then they dunk the entire thing in their vat of the sauce, the au jus sauce, if you will. And then they have to like put it in a plastic bag because it'll drip everywhere. But that is the way I would get it. Like super extra, like the bread starts falling apart because it's sogging in the juice. Of course, now I'm talking about it and I'm like, I'll go there with my own like gluten-free bun and be like, I would like an Italian beef, but put it in this thing. Dipped, please. So that, I would recommend that, I suppose. But yeah, I don't really, I don't look at food. I don't have favorites. I mentioned this before. I used to get a lot of questions about, what's your favorite this? What's your favorite that? I don't have a lot of favorites anything. I'm a pretty bland dude. Pretty bland and boring. Maybe that's why I fit the personality so well of, I'm going to walk in one direction in a video game. Forever and ever. Pretty bland as far as that is concerned. But, and I don't have, and this is, going a little bit step further. It's kind of a new mantra, I suppose, I have adhered to. A little bit, I suppose, hoity-toity, new agey, but I try, it's kind of just like I heard a quote. I heard a quote once, and it was basically, food is not, what am I doing? Making a boat. Food is not entertainment, food is fuel. Or, I think it sounds better the other way. Food is fuel, not entertainment. Yeah, that's the way it sounds. That could go on a t-shirt. And that really makes a lot of sense, and it could be something, I don't know if there's people out there struggling with the health of the food they're intaking, their cholesterol, their heart, or whatever like that, or their weight, or, whatever. Food is fuel, it removes the emotional attachments that a lot of us have to food. Their favorite this or that, or, overindulging this restaurant, their fast foods, their Cokes that they, people get really emotionally attached to their food. And it sure makes sense. It's a big part of life and culture even. Speaking of cultures and languages and metric to imperial units and whatnot. But by saying it that way, it does make it more of just a scientific. Your body requires fuel in order to keep the heart pumping and your lungs expanding and the chemicals happening in your brain in order to survive. It shouldn't be looked at like a roller coaster ride or something to be like, wee, food, because that's when you start to get into trouble. Not to say you can't enjoy food, you can't have a dessert. I've started to get into. I used to really. I don't know what happened. There was like a switch. But I used to not like dark chocolate, but I like dark chocolate now. So every once in a while, I can check out a dark chocolate. It's probably because I've started drinking coffee and whatnot. It's a lot more of that straight up cocoa taste, I suppose. But yeah, and there has been a study recently that dark chocolate is good. It's good for you. There's millions of these studies that red wine is good for you, that dark beer is good for you, that you know, the dark alcohols like whiskey is good for you, or you know, occasionally in moderation. But yeah, I've recently that has echoed with me that food is fuel, not entertainment. So that's kind of why it's a lot easier, I think, for me to just say, yeah, okay, I'll never have a genuine deep dish Illuminati's pizza ever again. They have a gluten-free version now. It's not deep dish, it's thin crust, but you know, I can still kind of get a flavor of their sauce and the sausage and the toppings and things like that. But for the rest of my life, I will never have a Portillo's Italian beef, or like I said, the Illuminati's pizza, or a really good you know, Italian dish like we were just talking about. That's like genuine Italian pasta or whatnot, or cake. That's a problem. Going over to family members like birthday, and they like have cake back at home, and I'm like, nope, none for me. Thank you. There's gluten-free cake. Last year for my birthday, somebody got me gluten-free cupcakes, which were good or whatnot. But again, yeah. I suppose stop having the moral of the story is stop having emotional attachments to things. Just become a robot. Think of everything you do in terms of fueling your biological body to continue to survive. And the world will become a much more bland, gray place for you to exist and live a long, healthy life in. Right, Wolfie? He's having no part of that. He wants some raw pork chops shaped like bones. Right? Indeed. So, I think we are all right here using the newest launcher. I mean, nothing in all technical meaning has changed. It's still using a 1.7.3 beta jar, still using the train generation, still the same seed, still the same everything. The world still exists. You know, all my monuments are still out there in previous lands at the 292-202, at the 699-492, and then more recently at the 1479940 monuments. So perhaps I should have done this a while ago, but here we are, adapting, changing, continuing our journey to the Farlands, in Farlands or Bust, as I make the final hidey-hole of the episode. I will once again thank you for contributing to Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com. Lights out! Boop. Oh, dang, how did I do this? What is wrong with me? I'm all out of sorts. What else? What else I want to talk about? Yeah, thanks for following along with the journey and continuing to adapt with me. And also check out, yesterday we uploaded myself and Dr. Brian Lorgon111. I talked about this briefly before, but we've been testing and playing his Minecraft bingo game. Very cool, completely automated bingo game in vanilla Minecraft in the snapshots. It's using the most current snapshot, but check that out. I'll put it in the end slate, our Minecraft bingo game, and you can look forward to, now that he has actually released the map, you can go check that out at his channel, Lorgon111. Now that he has released the map, look for more Minecraft. Oh, perfect. Well, almost perfect. Minecraft bingo games. Probably we'll have another rematch with Brian and perhaps more friends on the YouTubes for bingo. Very cool stuff indeed. Am I forgetting anything? No. No, indeed. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day out there. Enjoy the nice weather if it is indeed nice near you. Perhaps somewhere around 15, 16 degrees Celsius. Metric system. Indeed. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.